I'm going to talk about a movie called Superman Returns. It's about Superman returning.
Yeah, that's good that it follows the title.
And it's also the return of Superman to the big screen since like the 80s.
Isn't that really why they called it that? Probably.
Yes and no. I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's something I like about it, that it's Superman Returns, and he's returning to Earth. That's the point of that movie, that he was away for 5 years from Earth and he comes back. But it's also like Superman Returns to the movie theater, and when people say like, "Oh, you haven't been here a long time," it's like, "Oh, they mean I get it.
Yeah.
They mean like in the movie screen, but they also mean Earth," and that's kind of cool. You can tell Bryan Singer, who directed that and also directed the X-Men movies, really liked the first two Superman movies because he used the same theme, John Williams' theme. He used the same like blue credits that go whoosh, you know?
He probably got the rights.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he would have had to get the rights.
He even used Marlon Brando's like recordings from Superman 1 and 2 as Jor-El,
So he's still
the father of
yeah.
Superman. He used those clips.
That could have been laziness on his part. We don't need to get a guy to play him. Let's just use this.
No, I'm sure he like because in the original cut of Superman 2 they cut out everything Marlon Brando said. So he was like, "Oh, this is great. This is all this stuff that they didn't use. Let me use it." And that was cool. I also, you know what I really liked, and I hope more movies do this, more superhero movies do this, is like, okay, the credits go, and then there's like a title that just says like, Superman comes from Krypton. He's really strong, and he's a super guy. And the movie starts, and Superman is like flying. It's not like, and so no one's gonna understand this movie if I don't have like Jor-El putting him in a ship and
As a baby.
and blah blah, and then him growing up in a farm. Like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, you don't have to set that up when when it's like such a well-known character. I mean, when it's like Green Lantern or something, I think you do need to set it up. But like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, even like Wolverine,
Yeah.
you don't need to show like how he came to be. People just know it, or they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or Batman. Did I say that one?
Yeah.
Like, if you see a Batman movie where like they don't show why he became Batman, like they don't show his parents or whatever, like I don't think you care really.
Nowadays, especially, you would understand.
Yeah, I mean it's just been done so
Yeah.
much. It in Superman's case, actually, it's not as bad because like it'd been since '78 that they hadn't done the original story, the setup story. But it's just like the Spider-Man movie was the one that came out like last year.
Yesterday.
Spider-Man movie that came out last year is like
Yeah.
him getting bit by the spider and his uncle dying and all that. And it's like we saw that like whatever 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to show it again. Most people know the story or like basically, and most people don't really care that much. It's not like that great of a, you know what I mean?
Batman Begins doesn't have his whole origin, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Really? I just remember him being a guy. Already being Batman. I don't know.
That's what it's called. Batman Begins.
I don't know. I don't remember him being a child in that.
Yeah, and he falls into the cave. They even like show that again in Dark Knight Rises. And you hear his dad say like, "Why do we fall, Bruce? To get back up." And that's why he's rising. That's from Batman
okay.
Begins.
I just have a bad memory of that movie because I didn't like it that much. But anyway, Superman. We didn't need to see it again because they had already done it perfectly fine.
And I like that so much. And I like that he just like didn't care and was like, "Here's Superman. You know who he is. You don't really care where he's from."
Yeah.
I think most people when they first encounter, say, Batman, like when the first time you ever saw Batman, did you know that his parents died or whatever? Like, did that pull you in, or is he just cool? He's just cool and he's a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need to know why he's doing that necessarily. Like, eventually you're like, oh, okay, that's a cool story, but I don't know. Anyway, things I liked. Oh, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor is great. He's actually the best in that movie. He's better than Gene Hackman. Like I said this before, that Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor is like really sleazy and like kind of low class and a little bit
You
pathetic.
said he was like a car salesman.
He's like a used car salesman, and like I don't know.
With the stupid sidekicks.
Yeah, and Kevin Spacey, like they kept him a little bit sleazy and a little bit kind of pathetic, but he didn't go that far, and it was like just the right amount of like sleaziness. It was a little bit,
Yeah.
but it was like. I mean, it wasn't a little bit, but it was enough.
And he has one sidekick, and
he
she's
has-
not that bad.
Yeah, she's not that stupid, although she is still stupid, but they dialed it enough
Yeah.
back. The Brandon Routh, is that his name? As Superman is, he's okay, I guess. He
Yeah.
looks like Christopher Reeve. That's the best thing you can say about him, I think.
He wore contacts, so he has blue eyes. That's not a distraction.
He's okay. And
Kate
Kate
Bosworth?
something.
Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth is Lois Lane, and she's okay, I guess. It's weird because it's set like 5 years after Superman like went away for a while or whatever.
Yeah.
But they seem young, like really young,
Yeah.
and I don't get it. Like, was she 12 when Superman first came?
Well, didn't we see something where they were talking about that? How it's weird that they cast these two people who are younger?
It's a nostalgia critic.
Yeah, nostalgia critic.
Well, they look young, and it's weird because it's not supposed to be like Superman when he's young. It's supposed to be
No.
like Superman like a little bit older.
They should have
so,
cast somebody in their like 30s, and I think they cast somebody in their 20s.
in like their early 20s.
And that's part of the problem.
yeah.
Like,
So Lois Lane has
she's in,
is like about to get married to they're not about, but she's like engaged to some guy, and they have a kid.
It's James Marsden.
Right? Isn't he Cyclops?
Yes.
Okay.
She's engaged to Cyclops. That's why he couldn't be Superman. I was wondering why he wasn't Superman. But you can't be two superheroes. Nobody does that.
Are you kidding? Chris Evans?
You can't be two good superheroes.
What do you mean? You don't like the Human Torch?
No. Anyway.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool and Green Lantern. I mean, he's bad in both, but he is both. I like, you know what I like? The relationship between Richard, who's the hypotenuse in the love triangle, Superman, and what's her name? Lois Lane. It's like he's jealous of Superman, like understandably, but he like is nice and he saves their lives, and Richard like helps Superman, like they help each other even though they're in a love triangle.
They're kind of friends-ish, maybe?
Yeah. And it's like, hey, that's kind of like a mature way to handle a love triangle. You don't see that often.
Yeah.
So that was good. Is there anything you particularly didn't like?
That I can remember.
Yeah.
I saw this more longer ago than you. I remember liking it. I remember getting all excited, and it's the reason my mom was like, you should check out the Christopher Reeve version. But I remember really liking it. It was a good introduction
It's a
for
pretty
somebody.
good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the things is like the whole kryptonite angle is just done so much.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the only way anyone fights him apparently is kryptonite, and
Did they stab him with it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I guess that's a minor thing. So Superman, and spoilers, but Superman is supposed to have a kid in this. Like, the kid they think is Lois Lane has a kid, supposedly, with Richard, the guy, but it's really Superman's kid, and he's, like, sometimes, like, one time uses super strength to throw a piano on a guy. That sounds really funny, but it's not.
Sounds like the Looney Tunes.
Yeah. He throws an anvil on someone else.
Like, how many years is Superman supposed to be gone? Because that
5
kid,
years.
That kid looks older than 5.
You know what I saw? That they cut out references to 9/11 on that?
Really?
Yes, and I can kind of see what they were going for, because it came out in 2006. He was gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like they would have been like, Superman, we missed you a lot. You weren't here to, like, help out on
Yeah,
9/11.
we
But I don't
needed
know. I don't know. That feels like really,
That would have been kind of...
yeah, a little bit insensitive.
Yeah.
I get what they were going for with that, because
Yeah.
it's like what I liked about it was the thing that I liked about it the most was the thematic thing of like Superman has like not been around for a while, and we're getting like more cynical about stuff, and it's like, oh, that's talking about like people, and
Yeah.
like when Lois Lane writes a thing called "Why the World Doesn't Need Superman," and it's like, do we not need? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like that's really nice that how he tied like the world stuff to the real world. That was cool. It was like more depth than really either one of the original two Superman movies had.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a lot less campy.
yeah, and you know, I liked it. I can't say exactly why it wasn't bigger or why people don't like it as much.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't like it. I thought it was fine.
I mean, I think maybe it's not great, and people just were underwhelmed.
I think it's
by
hard to make a great Superman movie. I don't know why.
It's really long. It's really long too, so like that
They're
might
all
be a
really
thing.
long. Yeah.
That might have turned people off. It doesn't have. I guess I've heard people say that it doesn't have. Superman doesn't punch anyone. He doesn't really fight too much.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I guess like people really want to see Superman fight, but I thought it was nice. I don't know.
Nice Superman.
It surprised me. So I don't know if I liked it better than the first two. It's almost like a totally different thing. Oh, one thing that I kind of bothered me is I couldn't tell, or like it's not that I couldn't tell. Brian Singer couldn't make his mind up whether he meant this as a sequel, as a remake, as a squeemake, or what. Like it was a sequel sometimes, it was a remake other times, it was something totally different, like a reboot. And I don't know, like he should have picked one, I think. or like picked one mainly, but not had it contradict you. Like if you wanted to think it was a sequel, you could still think of it was a sequel. But it contradicts things coming in Superman 2. So like, I don't know. Wish he would have picked one or the other. But it actually surprised me because I thought it was gonna be like but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I told you it was pretty
And I don't know if I liked it more than Superman 2 or even 1. I think I actually did like it more than Superman 1.
More than Superman 1, but not Superman 2. Superman 2 is better.
Yeah. Richard Donner, Superman 2.
Yes, that's... You have to make that clear.
I mean, it's just Superman 2... Superman 1 and 2, like, they have such, like, history and, like, Christopher Reeve and the theme song and everything, but, like, just parts of it just seem really silly to me that, like, I don't know, this Superman Returns didn't have as many, like, kind of weird silliness to it.
Yeah. Was Christopher Reeve alive when this came out?
Cutting it close.
Yeah.
I think maybe not.
I think this one might have been dedicated to him or like something in the credits. I can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't remember, but
anyway, Superman Returns. I think it's good.
I think it's good too. Exciting ending.